Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another podcast of Knicks Dreams, where die-hard Knick fans such as yourself get an opportunity to share your perspective on the Knicks, and we get to talk about what happened in our last game and talk about what to look forward to our next game. Today we are joined by none other than the notorious Bill Stradamus, the incomparable Hakeem the Dream, yours truly 2.0, and Papi Santos Santana. So without any further ado, I'm going to give a no-look pass behind the neck to Santana.
Good afternoon, Knicks Nation, and thank you for jumping on board and getting involved in this conversation. I will be dropping in the actual link if you want to join us as a panelist, and you're more than welcome to chop it up with us on panel or in the chat room. Either way, we look forward to your input, and as a result of that, we welcome you, and we really hope that you jump in and share your thoughts. With that being said, I'm going to pass the rock over to 2.0 so he can give us his take, not a dissertation, but he can give us his take so he could give us all a little food to eat ourselves about what he thought about yesterday's game. Take it away, 2.0.
Okay, so I thought that we had, first of all, I want to say that I thought we had come pretty close with the score, but I was actually looking at the Pacers game when we predicted most of us around a 5-point win or loss. I win, actually. But yesterday's game, there was a lot of different things, and I hope that we all, between all of us, will touch upon all of the facets. I feel as if something was taken away from us. I think that there was a point where we double teamed the ball at the last few minutes, and they gave them a timeout, and the other time they were going to call a foul. I mean, these refs were horrible, and you don't want to give the refs an opportunity to decide the game for you. And so my first take was, as I mentioned yesterday, start Nilikina. And he didn't. He started quickly. And I'm not going to say your boy or my boy, but man, that boy put Quigley in a blender. Here I am. No, I'm not. To the left, to the right, finger roll.
Say that again. Say it again.
Here I am. Here I'm not. To the right, to the left, finger roll.
That's what we said yesterday.
When they panned out, the camera panned out, you know who they panned to? They panned out to Harden. Harden had his head in his head. Holy cow, what the hell was that? And it's okay, because even with everything that they had and everything that they gave us, man, it was a 3-point game with less than a minute to go. So they did not separate themselves because we put on the defensive team. Mind you, even Randall was sitting down at that point. And then he brought in Randall to finish out the game and quickly, but, we kind of fell short. Coach's loss. Take it away, Bill.
Okay. Thank you for the handoff. But I would be remiss if I didn't give my man Dream his props, because Dream's prediction was 117 to 113 Nets, and the Nets actually won 117 to 112. So Dream was off a point. Dreams to dominance.
That's bittersweet. That's bittersweet there, though.
But listen, I wish you were wrong, but you weren't.
It's still
now.
Still an L, yeah, but it's cool though.
It's true. Same observation that you had 2.0 with regard to starting quickly. We said that. We didn't, and especially I remember Santana saying that If you put quickly on Kyrie, quickly learned how to dance yesterday because he was looking like Fred Astaire out there trying to keep up. Or actually, he was Ginger Rogers trying to keep up with Fred Astaire because
no. He was Fred Astaire trying to keep up with Ginger. Ginger was the better dancer.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then that's the analogy that I want to bring to you guys. Kyrie, well, he does that to everybody. However, it would have been a little harder for him to do those things, in my opinion anyway, to Frank. I mean, he would have placed Frank in the blender as well. However, Frank is better defensively than Quickly, and therefore he should have started Frank. And he could have given Quickly the same amount of minutes that he gave him ultimately, and he would have, produced the same, or maybe even more, because having to guard Kyrie and then expected to put up some numbers offensively, which he did. He put up some good numbers. However, he may have been able to put up better numbers if he were coming off the bench. I'll leave it at that for now, and I'll swing over behind the neck pass to the Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the pass, and I'll do a little Kyrie shuffle and spin on them and dance. Whatever hand was going in last night, Jesus. So the Grammys were Sunday night, but that red carpet stretched straight from the Staples Center right through Brooklyn into the Barclays and right down the lane of whatever basket the Knicks were guarding, right? Because all I saw for the whole first half was Jordan and Green and sprinkling a little bit of Claxton, jamming the ball right down our throat. And I don't know what happened in the first half because it took us basically an entire half to stop, to basically put a little plug in it. It didn't stop all night, but a little bit of a slowdown, because we did pick up the defense in the second half. But man, and basically, we left them checking their rearview mirror. By halftime, they didn't see us. By the end of the third quarter, by the 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter, boy, we was objects in your mirror are larger than they seem, right? So basically, that's what it was. We were right there at the end, like you said. And but overall, I don't think we put ourselves in the best position to pull the game out. Like a couple of things, like you said, when you leave it to the refs or those 50-50 plays that could go your way to win, that didn't fall to us, and those calls didn't fall to us, and we basically scratched and clawed all the way back, and we could have earned a good win. But if we would have played better in the first half, we wouldn't have been in such a deficit to try to come all the way back from. And that's more what the game led to. So with that being said, I tossed it up top overhand pass lob to Santana.
So let me start in the beginning. First and foremost, we lost the game because of the starting lineup. We said yesterday, and collectively we agreed, the best starting lineup to send a message defensively to the Nets and to ourselves is starting Frank, having Bullock, RJ, Noel, and Randall. Okay? We start with that 5. We send a message. We control the pace. We manage the clock. He started quickly. They scored 35 points in the first quarter. Right then and there, I'm like, I was disappointed. I was extremely disappointed because you can't get caught up in the hype, man. Don't get caught up in the hype. And I'm talking about Tibbs, getting caught up in the hype. Yeah, I like Quickly, but he is not ready. He's not ready to assume that kind of role for the defensive lapses, because we call that too barbecue chicken on defense. And sure enough, he was going to be assigned to Kyrie, and Kyrie went to work, went downtown on him. So much so that by the second half, Quickly wasn't even checking Kyrie because he was getting cooked.
Yeah, very
you know what I'm saying? So I know at halftime I was speaking with 2.0, and I said, listen, man, they got to go to the starting lineup that we called in this second half. That's what they need to start with. Don't worry about hurting anybody's feelings. It's about getting back in this game. And he started with quickly again in the second half. And it didn't make a difference until Frank came in. And yeah, Frank didn't score any points, but his defensive presence helped the team come back. See, if you want to send a message, you had to send it in that first quarter. Because that set up the whole tempo of the game moving forward. They were playing a speed ball with Brooklyn in that first and second quarter. By the second quarter, the Knicks started coming back, but they were still down 12. But they had given up 60-something points.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
67.
Again, the issue here is we know that they can score. We know that they can run. We know that we don't have the firepower that they do. So what is our best approach? Is slowing the game down, making it a defensive game. And that's what you got to do from the onset and make it bump and grind from the beginning so that you don't have this big disparity that you have to come back from to try to overcome. So by the time you get to the end, of course, any play or any call that you don't get from a referee, we're going to be upset. But I was upset in that first quarter because they blew the game there. That's what I was disappointed about. Disappointed, literally disappointed, because it's about you know what's coming. You know what's coming. So you got to prepare for that. And you got to control the clock. And they did not do that. And Tibbs is at fault.
Yep.
Okay. And if there was a game to win, this was the game. And why was it? Because I knew that their defense wasn't going to be on our level. When we play defense, when we play defense. Okay. But unfortunately, we didn't win that game. And we'll talk about the next game and the impact and the collateral impact that that's going to have on tonight's game. But with that said, let me drop it off, do a little pocket pass to 2.0.
Oh, no pocket pass. I still got nightmares about pocket pass. Oh, bro. Oh, man. It was
Kyrie
like pocket
and
pass
Harden.
and the pocket pass. And you know who the recipient of the pocket pass was?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
The 105-year-old Green, Jeff Green.
Yes.
He was a human highlight film. I thought it was Dominic Wilkins all over again. I don't know what the hell was going on there, but he was like rejuvenated. Now, I could have made those shots, And that is the problem that was happening in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? By the end of that game, I got one word for you. RESPECT. We earned their respect. When we started double teaming, there was nothing. They couldn't get away from it. There's no Harden, no Kyrie, nobody. They even have to call a timeout because they couldn't get the ball out of bounds. That's our defense. And that is, I think, what you were alluding to, Santana. If we play that defense from the jump street, we got to be in their shorts out of the locker room. We got to be breathing on their neck like, what's up? How you doing? How's your baby doing? How's your wife? Like we having a conversation at the layup line. We're not even doing layup. We're gonna do layup with them, and that's the problem. And that's what we said. Man, you got to come out defensively. But I love the fact there is no quit in these Knicks. So, like I said before, it's a coach's loss. But and you don't want to put yourself in a position when you allow the refs to dictate the outcome of that game. But man, Kyrie steps on Ntilikina's foot, foul on Ntilikina. They were about to call a foul on RJ when they had the ball, the hand on the ball, and him and Burks had him Harris tied up. That's what I mean by the refs dictating the game. They made the wrong calls numerous times. And when the man slaps the balls off your hand and the ball comes off your hand, you can catch it back. You can catch it back.
Right.
You can catch it. He slapped it off his hand. He can catch it back.
He called the travel.
Behind the plate, though, the closest ref. was behind.
Why is he making the call when he's behind the play?
That I don't know about all that.
And what was wrong? What was wrong with Fizz not getting a replay on that?
Right.
He has just won the last one.
Yes. You only get one.
No, you only get one a game.
Get one. That's it. Whether you win it or lose it.
Even whether you win it or lose it. Okay, so then there was.
Oh, it's not right. It's not like football where
you get it. You can get it again.
You get your timeout back. You get your timeout back, but you don't get the opportunity to challenge again. And that's maybe something they'll need to work on, like next year, whatever, the rules committee. But, that's what happened.
Right. Okay, so there was at least 2 calls right there. And the timeout. The timeout that Harden took, that was a hell ball too. That was a hell ball. They gave him the timeout after the man had. Anyway, those are the little areas that I feel like, the game could have gone either way. But again, I couldn't be more proud of the boys, okay, because they fought back. They could have turned in, they could have folded the tents, packed it in and said, okay, we got another game tomorrow. Okay, like I was saying, if we're losing by that bad, let Randall sit down and take it easy. But now, no, that's not. The only difference in the game was Jeff Green. Because I expect Kyrie to get his 30. I expect Harden to get his 30. He only got 21. Okay? But I don't expect Jeff Green to get 20. And that was the difference. We held everyone in where they're supposed to be, except for this Jeff Green individual. Even the new guys that come in there, the Bruce Browns of the world, they didn't make that much of a difference. Oh, we had a great game. Man. 19 for Bullock, 33 for Randall, 23 for Barrett, 21 for Quigley, 12 for Burks. What do you want? We did what we were supposed to do, except play that tough defense in that last quarter. And even in the third quarter, because we tied them in points. We held them down in the second half. We held them down. Okay? We equaled the point total in the third. We beat them in the fourth by 7. And we lost by 3. Except at the end, there was a foul, and then he made 2 more. So it was 115, 112. With like seconds to go or whatever it was. There you have it. Take it away, Bill.
Well, I'm gonna go back to what Santana was saying. I'm putting this on Tibbs because as you pointed out, we did stay in it on 2.0. We came back, and looking at the box score here, each quarter. We held them to less points than their previous quarter. Mm-hmm. It started off, they had 35 in the first, 32 in the second, 29 in the third, and then 21 in that fourth quarter.
Lockdown defense.
And with that being said, we could have actually pulled this out if he would have given Frank more than 16 minutes. Frank only played 16 minutes in the whole game. And to me, again,
he fouled out though.
But if he would have started him, and I think that also the referees would have seen, if we would have come out with that aggressive defensive style, we would have gotten some of those calls that we didn't get in the latter part of the game, where they're just thinking like, well, 2 of them jumped on this guy, they must have fouled him.
Yeah.
If we were that aggressive in the very beginning, I think we would have got a benefit of the doubt on some of those calls down the end. Mm-hmm. You pointed out, offensively, our guys did what they were supposed to do, with the exception of, Noel. I mean, Noel couldn't get us a basket. Well, but he only played 20 minutes, and he had 5 rebounds.
And a nice block.
And he had a nice block, a real nice block. That was Mutombo-esque. That block.
I think it's death.
Yeah. And for the Nets now, for some reason, the guy, what was his name? Claxton. He only had 6, but it seemed like he had more than 6.
Right. Yeah, he was all over the place. But it was only 6 points.
All I see is these yellow dreads flopping all over the place near the rim. Mm-hmm. Seems like every other play, he's near the rim doing something.
His defense.
But Jeff Green, he turned back the hands of time. He's been in the league for 100 years, like you said. But, he was looking like he did when he used to play for Boston. I would go back that far. Harris held him in check. He only had 13. DeAndre, 8 points, 9 rebounds. So we held him in check. However, he was the recipient of a couple of those lobs that Mr. Harden, who had a ridiculous game, 21, 15, and 15.
Wow.
That's like, and then you got the Fred Astaire doing his thing. With those two, if you're going to give them or let them have that, not let them, if they're going to have that output, then you're going to definitely have to tighten up on the other guys. And we did with everyone, with the exception of Green.
Nice.
And with the exception of our head coach, who, again, I'm not letting him get off, who started the wrong person at point guard. With that being said, let me go behind the neck again. I'm going to fake this way, and I'm going to go around to the Dream.
I'm gonna catch it, and I'm going to throw it up to myself off the backboard with the left and catch it with the right. So I'm going to put on these gloves. It's time for surgery to get into these numbers. Let's dig deep. So what we have is 37 made field goals on 92 shots. That's not our game, 92 shots. 42 of those shots were three-pointers.
Yeah.
42 three-pointers attempted.
Well, we needed 2 more of those.
That's way too many three-pointers. We're not a three-point shooting team. That's the point. You know what I'm saying? So we're taking bad shots, fast shots early in the clock. We wanted to slow the game down. You know who slowed the game down? Surprisingly, the Nets. They made 76 shots. They only took 76 shots. That's crazy. I still haven't figured that out. I've looked into the numbers a couple of times. I haven't figured out how they did that, and still put up the point. How they did. So that's crazy. But they're not number 1 scoring team in the league, and they're not top 5 in field goals for nothing. But so what happens with that is the dig deep part of that is the 55 missed shots, right? Of the 92, we missed 55 shots. Of those 55 missed shots, we didn't give ourselves a second chance opportunity because they rebounded the ball defensively 38 times.
Right.
That's not enough second chance shots to win the game. So we're taking empty shots, bad threes, clanging off. They're going right into defensive hands and then going back the other way. That's not our game, man. We need to get more control, slow the pace down, right? So that's really what happened. And then on top of the fact that they only shot the ball 76 times, 29 times of their main field goals, they assisted the ball around. So they were really dancing on us and passing the ball around. They had us on the ropes all night. And if it wasn't for our heart and our grit to get defensively back in the game, and we always say we wish we could have started out that way, but at least we pulled it together and did show them a little bit of what we're about. That's good because that shows up what the playoffs is going to be like. They're not going to be doing a lot of this dancing, but that 76 field goals attempted, that's something we need to be concerned about because we can't be doing 92 and the other team is doing 76. And then we're in a 3-point game at the last shot. That's way too many. That's a big differential. So we got to work that part out, right? Outside of that, we was tossing out bagels last night. Topping, 0 points, 4 minutes. Not really that crazy, but one of those threes was a bad air ball. Ntilikina, we talked about it. 0 points, 16 minutes. I mean, I don't know. Where you want to start him, put him in the lineup, 16 minutes. I guess part of that is good. He gave us all the hustle he had. He fouled out, right? And then Noel. Normally wouldn't dig on Noel, but the important part about his 0 points in the 20 minutes is that he didn't attempt any field goals. Not that he didn't make any points, but he got 0 field goal attempts. Like, we didn't even try to get him the ball down low, and then we took the onslaught of all that Jordan and Claxton and Green coming right down the hole. So we didn't combat any of that. He did have some nice defensive plays because that's what he does, right? But, conceptually, the game plan wise, at some point you got to say we got to get the ball down low to this guy or something. Like even those lobs, there were a couple of bad lobs. I saw RJ try to throw him a couple that was just like last minute. So I don't think he was really ready for it. But outside of that, that's all the bad stuff. I did want to stick up for my man Taj Gibson Because, boy, he was hustling hard last night. A lot of times under the rim, whether he got the rebound or not, he was tapping that ball up against 3 and 4 other defenders, and I didn't see anybody down low trying to help him out. So claps for you, Taj Gibson. Thank you for hustling. I toss it over a lob to Santana.
You know, you broke it down great in terms of the numbers, and you know, I'm glad that you raised those numbers, because going in, that's what we said. We want ball control the clock, control pace. We don't want a run and gun. We don't. And then to make matters worse, we're shooting threes all over the place. No. Threes, I understand you have to take X amount of threes per game, but you got to take good threes. You're not just shooting threes. And that's what bothers me about the current era of NBA basketball, that you got all these teams that think they're three-point shooting teams, and they're not. They're not. You're trying to be something that you're not. Why not focus on being good at what you are? And then if you want to counter the three, you got to defend the three. That's how you counter the three. That's how you limit shooting more threes than another team, is you limit their opportunities to shoot threes. Okay, if they're going to come and take it to the lane, fine, no problem. If they're going to bounce the shot clock every single possession, even better. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. That's fine. We got to make it ugly. We have to. We don't have a choice. We don't have pure shooters out there that are snipers that we can count on to hit three on a regular. Randall's improved substantially since last year to this year. Barrett is starting to get there. He's starting to get there. He's still, now you see me, now you don't. We didn't see him in that first half. Then we see him in the second half. That's not consistency. Okay. So that's why you got to stick with, bread and butter plays that are going to give you the highest percentage, outcome. And again, there was a few instances where he's going to the basket, he's off balance, he just throws it up. That's just bad. It's ugly. And at one point, he got pulled. Tibbs pulled him. He brought him back in eventually, but he pulled him because, you gotta make better decisions, and you can't just throw the ball out there and hope it goes up. If you shooting like that, you shouldn't be shooting. If you throwing it like that and you in a bad angle and you're hoping that it goes in, it's a bad shot. You're muted, Bill. But also with Quickly, this kid is too trigger happy, man. He's trigger happy. He's calling guys to set picks to get his shot off continuously. You see, that's bad discipline. Yes, you can shoot. Beautiful. But let's make it a good shot. And let's not make it every single time you touch the ball, you got to shoot it. No, man, set up your teammates. If you set up your teammate, it's going to open up your game that much more. But if you're too trigger happy, man, he made a few threes, but he missed a lot. He shot 4 for 12 from three, if I remember correctly. 4 for 12.
Yeah.
We got to take better shots, man. Yeah, I'm sure there were other guys that probably had a better shot than he did. But he's not passing the ball. He's coming in chucking. That's not, and of course he got cooked. With that said, bro, we're gonna move on now because it's 12:36, so we got to move into today's game. So let me give you my take on today's game. This is why I'm so upset about yesterday's loss, because I felt that between yesterday's game and today's game was the game that we had the better chance to win. And the reason why I say that is because Philadelphia, they play better defense. They have Doc Rivers over there. They have, even though Embiid is out, and we know he's out, they still got they got Dwight, they got Tobias Harris, they got Simmons, they got Green, they got Curry. All these cats.
All of these play defense.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel the chance that the Knicks had, especially when you're going into a back-to-back, right? was yesterday as opposed to today. That's why I picked them. And I picked them based on the fact that I was thinking that Tibbs is going to go in there with a defensive message, which he blew. Had he done that, they win that game. And then maybe we give ourselves a chance against Philly. Now the tables are turned. We lost that game. A game that was winnable. It was winnable. I mean, the outcome of the game says it. It was winnable. But we didn't start out the way we needed to start to position ourselves to win the game. So we lost. Now we got to play Philly, coming off a back-to-back, okay? Hopefully the team is not going to be, because this is what happens sometimes with teams. You know, they come close to winning. They lose because they feel, okay, the ref blew this, blew that. And then when they play that next game, they have a letdown, an emotional letdown. So that's one factor. The other factor is the Philadelphia 76ers defense is better than Brooklyn's defense. There's no question there. And then, you know, they're going to be competitive. They're just as good. You know, they were top 2 in the Atlantic, you know, in the Eastern Conference, right? Yep. Yeah. So, you know, I as you guys already can hear, I'm going to predict Philadelphia to win this game tonight, which I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I really do. But all these factors, I cannot ignore them. I cannot ignore. I'm hopeful that either Peyton comes back and play or they start Ntilikina, because Quickly is not ready to be the point guard. He's not ready. Right now, we got to get him to learn how to be a good shooting guard. And I don't mean a good shooting guard in the context of him hitting shots. No, in the context of playing team basketball. Because right now, as I mentioned to you guys a few episodes back, he's starting to be like Alonzo Trier, a chucker. And that's not good. With that said, I'm going to drop it off to 2.0.
Okay, so you said a mouthful over here now, but you can make a logical or draw a logical conclusion that maybe one game was more winnable than the other, but both of these games are equally difficult for the Knicks. Okay, they got 2 perennial all-stars on the Nets that you was not going to hold down. You could hold down one to his, you know, if you call scoring 21 and 15 assists and 15 rebounds holding down, and the other one is going to give you 30 plus. Okay, so that's the Nets. As far as Philadelphia is concerned, they got a bunch of guys. Okay, however, without Embiid in their lineup, they are offensively challenged because now they don't have that big man to draw out anybody, our big man from the middle for the rest of the guys who have, you know, a free-for-all going into the lane. So probability is not reality. I like your analysis about the possible letdown, but I don't think that Philadelphia is an easier game to win than the Nets were. So you know where I'm going with this. I'm thinking that the Knicks have a nice rebound game, just like they did after the Milwaukee game. And they are going to now bring the defense and also bring the offense and put it on Philadelphia. This is one of these. I'm going to beat up at the next guy that comes through that door. I don't care who it is. You know, I don't care if you bring back, who was it? Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. We're going to beat them regardless. Okay. And so this is what it is for me. This is I originally going into these games. These are the 2 games that, you know, we all kind of felt were going to be the most challenging. And personally, I thought that if we were going to lose any two of these 4 games, it was going to be this 2. Okay, or any 3. It was going to be Milwaukee and the Nets and Philadelphia. Those 3 were like going into this March. It was going to be those 3, and then we were going to beat hopefully Orlando on Thursday, and yeah, my memory is failing me. The game that we just beat OKC. Okay, so I figured we were going to be 3 or 2 wins and 3 losses anyway. But having said that, I still believe in the boys that they can pull tonight's game out, especially because, and that's not an easy bet to take, because what happens is when one of your main guys goes down, you know how the troops kind of like circle the wagons, and then they kind of like the next man up all of a sudden has a blowout game. And this could be a blowout game for any one of them. It could be a blowout game for Tobias Harris. It could be a blowout game for who is in there? The Curry kid, right? Curry's brother is playing with them. Or it could be a blowout game for another 105-year-old man, Howard. So you got to take this with a grain of salt. You got to take it easy. Don't get too excited. It's not like, oh yeah, Embiid is out, so all of a sudden we got a definite win. No, we have to bring our defense. We have to bring our offense, and we have to treat this like, all right, we just got smacked last night, so now we're gonna go out there and have to smack somebody else. Okay, we're gonna have to go out there and take somebody's lunch, man. And unfortunately, you're going to have to be Philadelphia tonight. Take it away, Bill.
Okay. I've taken into consideration what you said, and I've taken into consideration what Santana said, and I'm even taking into consideration what I think Dream is going to say. And I'm gonna put this one, it's going to be on the coach. If he starts quickly, like he did last night, we're going to have the same output. We're going to lose the game. He needs to start Frank or hopefully get Peyton or somebody back. If he does not jump out with the defensive mindset first, the same thing is going to happen tonight that happened last night. And I'll leave it at that. And I'm going to just throw a regular pass to the Dream.
I got this, bro. I got this floater from the foul line. All right, so I'm gonna title this Grand Opening, Grand Closing. Right? We started this road trip, this 4-game, just for this 4-game block. We started in Milwaukee, 3rd in the East. Last night, Brooklyn, 2nd in the East. And for our reward, we get the first team in the East, Philadelphia. So it's basically what it is. So everybody in the world is talking about, oh, they don't got Embiid no more. But let me tell you this. Remember San Antonio smacked us by almost 20 like a week and a half ago? Them boys without Embiid went into San Antonio and destroyed them by 35 points. And on top of that, the big kicker, because the offense, we're wondering how the offense is going to be affected. That 3rd quarter, they put up 46 points. So them boys is not worried about it, because what they do have is still have a championship coach who knows how to restructure the offense on the fly. Oh, I got my big man. Oh, I don't have my big man. Let's keep it moving. And that's the scary part about it. The other scary part about it is that this team is top 10 in offense and top 10 in defense, and we don't fare well against those type of teams. That's the problem, right? So unless we're going to start making a change, but the teams in that category are, there's not many of them. It's the Utahs, Philadelphia, the Clippers, and Denver. So, top tier teams of the league. We would like to be in that group one day, but if those are the teams I'm going 1-4 against on the season, okay, I'm gonna have to take those lumps. We're not there yet. And even our defense is not gonna stop those offensive kind of teams. When they have a defense and an offense combination. So and in flashing lights before I go, watch the pace. Watch the pace. Watch the pace. Philadelphia is a 95 to 100 possession output team. So that's not what we do. We try to stay in the 80s. That's the first thing we need to control. Is stay out of those high 90s, 100 plus field goal attempts. Outside of that, we might put ourselves in a position to be competitive tonight. I'm not going to say win. I overhand lob it, Santana.
You guys said it all. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's gonna come down to when they come and play tonight. It's gonna be like Bill says. You gotta have a defensive guy starting out. It cannot be quickly. It just cannot be. I mean, we just saw what happened yesterday. 35 points in that first quarter, and it kept bleeding in that second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're not gonna start Frank, then put Burks at that position.
Right.
Okay, because you don't have a pure point guard to start anyway among them three. So if you're not gonna start, quickly, which you shouldn't, and you're not gonna start Frank, then put in Burke. He's not gonna go crazy. He's not gonna go wild. He's gonna at least be conservative. He's gonna manage the game, and then you keep your rotation intact for the second half. The second quarter when you have your second unit in there. You bring quickly. You bring Frank, and have them work off of each other and help each other out. That's the adjustment. That's the adjustment. Slow down the game. Slow down the game. We got to get to that, grind it out every single possession. What's the rush? We're not shooting, a high percentage, especially from three, and that only opens up long rebounds, and that only opens up a fast break on the opposite end, which just speeds up the game. We can't afford to do that. We can't run. We can't play that game. We don't have those kind of horses to run that kind of game. We can't dance with wolves, man. We can't dance with them.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? We can't dance with the wolves. We gotta be methodical. We gotta make it, boring, ugly. Grind it out every single possession on the offense and defensive end. So that way we limit possessions. We give ourselves a better chance. And we run sets. We don't need to rush the clock. We got 24 seconds on the clock. Let's run the clock. Let's try to get a good shot. Don't just get it to the first open man and then shoot it from three. That's just, that's lazy. That's lazy offense, man. Anybody could do that. With that being said, I'm going to pick, and I'll say this early so that way give everybody else a chance to talk. I'm going to pick Philly to win tonight, man. Philly's going to win tonight, 110, Knicks 105. 2.0. Your turn.
Okay. First of all, to piggyback on what Dream said, man, they're playing good. The last 4 games, they're averaging 129, 130 points, man. I think it's 127, 127, 131, and 134, all wins. They did play yesterday, just like we did. They did play San Antonio yesterday, just like, and they did put 134, smackdown on San Antonio. But I'm not so scared. I mean, without Embiid, these are the names that everybody recognizes: Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Dwight Howard, Danny Green, Tobias Harris.
That's scary to me.
Okay, so that's 4. Okay, are they going to play all 48? Are they going to play all 48? No. Okay, so then after that, you got people like Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, Tony Bradley, Shake Milton. Stop me when you recognize any of these people. Firkin, somebody, Isaiah Joe, Terrence Ferguson, Paul Reed, Mike Scott, Vincent Porter, and Ray John Tucker. Which one of those guys scare you again?
Shake.
Okay, so you got one guy off the bench. That's what it has to be, a total team effort. Our bench has to show up, okay? And without Joel Embiid, again, it can go either way. They can circle the wagons and become even stronger because it's, now all the guys are saying, yes, I'm going to get my minutes tonight. And, I'm going to try to show the coach that, he should give me more time. Okay. Or it could work the other way. It's like, holy shit, man, now, I mean, they won the last 4, but Embiid's only been out one of those games. Okay. So they were already on a roll. And I guess San Antonio has been, on a roll themselves. They must have been losing some games. They must be having. Well, they don't have whatchamacallit anymore, because they're sitting him out to trade him.
Aldridge.
Yes. So without Aldridge, man, we could have had a field day against San Antonio. So don't make it look like they were wall beaters over there. Aldridge is a respectable center. That so without him, again, it's just like us, man. Listen, we could be right now with Rose, Elf, and Mitchell. Man, we probably would have beaten the Nets last night. Okay, so Quickly wasn't brought in here to be a point guard of today. He could maybe develop into that. So let's stop hammering on Quigley, because you maybe your expectations are too high. He's just a young kid that was drafted in the second round. He was not a first round pick, or maybe he was a late first round pick, but he wasn't brought in here to run the offense.
We're not blaming him. We're blaming the coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the problem is that he's been pushed into this position because our point guard by committee, again, I repeat, my point guard by committee is not even there. I don't have either one of my 2 point guards that I'm counting on for this year. So Quickly is just kind of like, forced into a situation where he's really a shooter. He's one of our scoring guards, man, that I need out there. So he can't be playing scoring guard and point guard at the same time. So yes, he has to call his number, and he don't call his number. The coach calls his number. So he's not out there chucking like, I got free will.
Yes, he is.
Otherwise he'd be sitting there. He wouldn't be coming back. He would not be coming back in the game.
The matchup is different.
He's chucking, man. He's chucking. You can say what you want to say. He's chucking.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So he's chucking for how much? For 21 points in 25 minutes? Okay, well, let him chuck.
Chuck that.
Chuck that mic. Chuck it.
Chuck that mic to Bill.
Bad basketball.
Chuck it.
Drop a score.
21 points. Who else you got out there that can score it? Would you rather Frank Ntilikina to be chucking?
Listen,
okay, now rest my case.
No. Let me answer your question. My bottom line, whether it's Quickly, Frank, whomever, Barrett, whomever it is, I don't care, Burks, whoever it is, do it within the flow of the offense. Don't go in there trying to be playing hero ball by yourself, especially if you're a rookie. I'm not expecting him to be a point guard. I never say he was a point guard. Yes, he's been thrusted into that position for whatever reasons, based on pressure from the media, based on pressure from the fans. But I'm not going based on what the media wants or the fan wants. I'm going based on the eye test. And I know what I see him Quickly. He's a good scorer, but you got to play within the flow of the game. That has to be, the expectation. That's my expectation, which I think is realistic. I don't expect him to be a point guard. He's not a point guard. Could he develop into that someday? Maybe, but I'm not projecting out. I'm dealing with the now. And the now is that he's not a point guard.
Talk to your coach.
I'm just saying. Go ahead, Dream. Take it away, Dream.
Take it away, Dream.
Take it away.
All right. So,
by the way, hold on. I got 115, 108 Knicks.
115, 108?
Wow.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Okay.
Good defense, man. Go ahead,
So
Dream.
not bad. So as far as matchups, I think a matchup that we definitely need to win tonight is an obvious one. Randall needs to win his matchup against Tobias Harris. That needs to start. And honestly, I think he'll carry over some of that emotion that he ended the game with last night. And I think he may triple double. He may triple double tonight. Because he'll have that freedom without Embiid around to do something like that again. But some of the biggest matchup, and we all talked about it, is just the guard play in general. Their guards versus our guards, right? And on their end, I'm talking about the guards, Simmons, Curry, and Shake Milton, right? Versus our guards as Quickly, Burks, and Barrett. That's how I'm counting as our guards, right? And I'm move Bullocks out to the side, but I may switch him in because after we had our talk right now, I'm thinking maybe the best strategy is to put Bullocks on Simmons, Because of the height. He's 6'10",
Yes.
and anybody else we try to put on him defensively is going to be a horrendous mismatch just from the height standpoint. So moving quickly to the 2 and maybe putting Bullock at the 1 just on the defensive end, not to run the team offensively, but on the defensive end, to have that matchup at least.
Yes.
That would be beneficial to us or help us at least, you know. So that just the guard matchup, you know. Moving on to the bench matchup, yes, I'm gonna drop 2 guys on you that you making fun of right now. Matisse Thybulle and Furkan. Well, I'm gonna damage his name here. Korkmaz, whatever. The only reason I'm dropping, Korkmaz. So the only reason I'm dropping those 2 is because in the last night, part of our issue is running guys off the 3-point line. So what do I look for on the teams that are coming in? These bench guys that want to get off, and a couple of these guys got off, and both of them really didn't have a whole bunch to do. But in the minutes versus point production, the Korkmaz, he had 16 points in 15 minutes, but 4 for 4 from 3. Watch that guy tonight. And same thing with Thybulle. He's a tall, rangy kind of like player. Yeah. He had 10 points in 17 minutes, but another guy who hit 2 for 2 for 3. So watch those random guys who'd like to pop up, and those are 2 little guys you can watch out for. Ultimately, I'm not picking the Knicks, man. I can't do it tonight, and I'm not really scared about it because I already got my 1 win, and that was OKC, because I don't bracket this out to include Orlando. Orlando's part of our homestand, and when we get back home, we defend the crib. So that's a whole different block of games for me. So I keep Orlando in that second block. So this was just always about this 4-game thing, and I always wanted to go 1-3. So this is house money tonight. Tell the team, bro, house money. Go out there, enjoy. Try not to fall into their, into their game plan because, like I said, high 90s, 100s, that's what they want to do. And they push teams right into that because of the fact that they score in the 125, 127, 130. But our defense will bring them back down a little bit. Not as much as I would like. Philadelphia 121, New York 116. Talk to the pitch.
121 to 116, Philly. Okay.
All right.
All right.
No. Okay. Me, I can't go for us just based on last night. Like I said, it depends on who he starts. If he starts quickly, the same thing is going to happen that happened last night. And then also what I forgot to mention about last night, we fell into the trap of trying to outshoot Brooklyn, and they end up shooting like 16 shots less than we had.
Yeah.
And we only had 16 assists in that game. So I hate to bring back the old, but it does have something to do with tonight. We need to move the ball around. We need to have again that defensive mindset. And the reason that we're shooting all of these threes, like what do we shoot? 42 threes last night. That's because we come out there trying to go shot for shot, and then we fall back so much that you're forced to start shooting threes. And we're not that good of a 3-point shooting team. We have our games where 1 or 2 guys are on and we're good. However, we don't have snipers. We have decent 3-point shooters. We don't have any snipers. Quickly included. He's not yet proven to be a sniper as yet.
And those games always bite us in the ass when somebody gets hot right away in the first quarter. And
absolutely.
17 in the first out, the 4 for 5, 3. And it was like, I hate doing that.
That's what do we call it in the chat? The fool's goal. The fool's goal. God forbid if Bullock hits his first 2 shots, or even the Riddler, if he hits his first 2 shots from out there, then you're going to see at least 10 more from them from the 3-point line because they think they think they're Steve Novak all of a sudden. Remember him? With all of that being said,
you're going deep into the bag, Steve.
With that being said, I can't call this a win for us.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to go 118, 108 Sixers.
All right, fellas.
And it'll be up to Tibbs to prove me wrong.
Usually I'm the one that brings us into the reality. Okay.
Hopefully you do. Hopefully you're right.
I hope you are right.
Yeah,
because then that means they win. I hope you're right.
Well, not only does that mean they win, but that ultimately my perspective and my analysis is correct, man.
This is bigger than your perspective, man. This is a team, brother. It's a team. For you, okay, that works for you.
It's my analysis that works.
If you are correct, listen. The next broadcast, we let you bloviate for 10 minutes. You can go out. You can go out.
No. I'm not agreeing to that. You already bloviate for 10 minutes.
It's already been set. It's already on tape. So you're gonna have to roll back the tape. So maybe you have to roll back the tape.
I'll trade that.
Your boys,
to have to listen to you. I'll trade that.
Dream. Your boys just had a decent night. Your Tyable and Cormac, 10 and 16 points. That's it. They shot their load last night, man. They ain't coming in here with that nonsense. We're not allowing that today. And that's the difference, man.
I'm just happy there's no salary cap for talking, boy, because we be fined all day long, man.
So Philly.
You be running over, Nick. Boy. Running that over, boy. Like, go right through that budget. Let's go.
we be on a luxury tax, huh?
Luxury tax all day long, boy. That's like Golden State Warriors of this talk game, boy. Oh goodness.
Very good, guys. So Anyway, once again, thank you all for joining us today. And as we say at the end of every broadcast, once a Knick.
Always
the Knick.
All right, fellas. We'll pick it up at game time, man.
Game time.
All right.